All right, let's talk about something we all struggle with, that constant, nagging battle for our own attention. It can feel like a personal failing, right? But what if I told you it's not really your fault? What if you're up against an ancient enemy, a modern digital storm, and yeah, even a saboteur inside your own head? Let's break it all down.
I mean, this is the big one, isn't it? You sit down at your desk, you've got your coffee, you're absolutely ready to crush that to-do list. And then, somehow, 5 minutes later, you're deep into a rabbit hole of watching videos about cats playing the piano. If this sounds even a little bit familiar, I promise you, you are in very good company.
And here's the most important thing to get right away. This is not about a lack of willpower. You are fighting a war for your attention on 3 completely different fronts. So our mission today is pretty simple. We're going to name the enemy.
So, our first opponent? It's the oldest one in the book, our own brain. It's an amazing piece of hardware for sure, but it was built for a world that just doesn't exist anymore. This is what scientists call the evolutionary mismatch.
Think about it like this. For pretty much all of human history, your survival depended on being easily distracted. Your brain's default setting is basically survival mode, always scanning for anything new or different. A little rustle in the bushes could be a tiger. A flash of red in the distance could be fresh berries. In that world, deep focus could get you eaten. Broad, scattered attention is what kept you alive.
And this is where the problem becomes crystal clear. Your ancient programming is screaming, "Hey, scan for danger. What was that sound?" But your modern job demands the exact opposite. Please ignore that email notification and stare at this single spreadsheet for the next 3 hours. Your brain isn't failing. It's just trying to do a job it was never, ever designed for.
So your brain isn't broken, okay? It's just running its original on-guard software. It is hardwired to chase after anything new, because for our ancestors, that shiny new thing could literally be the difference between life and death.
Okay, so we've got a brain that's already primed for distraction. Now, what do you think happens when we drop that brain smack into the middle of a digital hurricane? Well, that brings us to the second front in this war for our focus.
And you can probably guess who the architects of this storm are. Our phones, that constant barrage of pings and notifications, the infinite scroll on social media. All of it has been engineered to create a relentless 24/7 fire hose of novelty that our poor ancient brain stands absolutely no chance against.
And their secret weapon is something called the dopamine loop. It is so simple and so powerful. Here's how it works. A notification pops up. Your attention immediately snaps to it. And then you get a tiny little prize, a like, a comment, a new bit of information. That little prize gives you a small hit of a feel-good chemical called dopamine, which trains your brain to want another interruption and another one after that.
I really want you to let that sink in for a second. This isn't just something that's happening to us. Every single time we give in to that ping, we are actively participating. We are literally, bit by bit, training our own brains to crave distraction and to be bad at focusing.
So we've looked at our ancient wiring, and we've looked at the crazy digital world we live in. But there's a third, really powerful force we haven't touched on yet. And to find this one, we kind of have to look in the mirror. Because what if the biggest enemy of our focus is actually us?
And that brings us to our final section, the inner saboteurs. These are all the psychological reasons that our brain actively looks for an excuse, any excuse, to escape from the task that's right in front of us.
Our brain is a master escape artist. If a task feels boring, it'll search for a thrill. If a project feels way too big and overwhelming, suddenly checking your email seems a lot more manageable, right? If the goal isn't even clear, we just run from that uncomfortable feeling. But the biggest escape hatch of them all, it's fear.
It's such a weird paradox, isn't it? The desire to do something absolutely perfectly doesn't push us forward. A lot of the time, it just freezes us in place. That fear of not meeting our own ridiculously high standards becomes so huge that it just feels safer to not even start. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's a shield.
So, this is it. This is the anatomy of losing focus. It's not just one thing. It's a perfect storm of 3 equal forces. You've got 1/3 ancient brain, starving for novelty. 1/3 digital world, designed to feed that hunger constantly. And 1/3 our own inner saboteurs, always looking for the nearest exit sign. It is a full-on, 3-way tug-of-war for your mind.
But listen, just understanding these forces is a huge first step. It changes the problem from, I'm just bad at focusing, to, okay, I'm dealing with a specific set of challenges I can actually manage. So the real question isn't just, why is this so hard?
The real question is, now that you know exactly who the enemy is, what's your first move going to be?